every athlete, every person, every human being has an opportunity. Some opportunities don't come when you want them. But if you're prepared, good opportunities can happen. Always be ready, because you never know when your number is gonna get called.
I'm not coming back.
EMIY Apparel. Encourage me. I'm young.
Calvin T. Mann, leading Emmy, served over 20,000 youth through speaking, coaching, and mentoring. He has inspired us for years. Welcome to Emmy TV Podcast with your host, Calvin T. Mann, the Encourager.
All right. We have welcome to Put Your Family First. It is the first Monday in December, Father's Day at the mentoring program. We have a number of men being scared to answer a text phone call. It is absolutely hilarious when it comes time to seeing about these boys. It just amazes me and what this society has done. It's been an incredible day. I'm glad to be here. My name is Calvin Mann. And in the room with me are two ladies, award-winning ladies of award-winning men. Should I say, I'm one of them. Anyway, glad to be here. And Heather, how you doing?
Oh, I'm great this afternoon. It's been a good working day and got a lot done, and I got my afro up, so. I hope that was not about my afro.
Oh, no, your afro on point, baby. Let's get that understood.
Well, thank you. Thank you for acknowledging my afro. It takes a lot of work to get that hair to pop up and poop up like that.
Yeah. Your afro was on point. I feel like singing one of them 1970 songs.
Oh, sound like the theme to Sanford and Son.
So, yes, I before we get into the subject, I'm gotta say my mood today is that of accomplishment. It's that of we're closing up the mentoring program for another successful 14 weeks coming here Sunday, and just watching my looking at my family and seeing things all across this country, right? Watching my little cousin in Oklahoma play basketball, watching the cousin in our family up for the Heisman, watching my brother coach at Grand Valley, watching my cousin coach at Western, which I got to drive up probably during the holidays and check out a game or something. Watching people succeed in my family, and just looking at things from a different lens. Like, I kind of understand now how people fall into a not really caring and that type of thing. I kind of understand
it's
how
called
that
apathy.
happened. Yeah. Well,
it's called apathy.
Okay, apathy.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so it's called apathy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And when you talk about apathy, right, you in terms of how do you see things, you know what I mean, what that means to yourself. But for me, I'm gonna say this because I can. 2024 would be my 39th year. I'm about to get on the soapbox for a second. It'll be my 39th year in this work, doing from my trauma, from what happened to me, from my experience, from my story, deciding to not be what they were to me. Looking at it from a lens, putting 40 young men in school, helping to put 40 young men in school, can't take all the credit. Shaping the lives of hundreds, if not thousands, for sure. Having an impact. Receiving an award 2016 for my own day. Receiving an award, one of the awards I received in 2021 or 22, I think it was, for Advocate Against Domestic Violence. Seeing the state of our youth and our children, I decided that for me, in order to enjoy this, right, because I think that's important, that you enjoy this work, right? Of course, it's tough. And I say this because, this is my, how do I put it? My soapbox, but this is my, I need a break conversation, right? I need a vacation time, right? Right. We are, we're snappy, right? We
Don't put me in that. Say we. Don't put me in that.
Right. We're snappy.
We are not snappy.
Right. And right. We have. Anyway, my point is,
you're tired?
Not only am I tired, but I'm proud. 39. So, the great part about it, Monique, it wasn't until 2016 that I was ever rewarded. So I was already doing the work without ever being rewarded. I didn't get no reward till 2016. Right? So to see it that way, my head was down, my hands was to the plow. I continued to go, but it was flawed. A lot of people don't like the conversation because it's real. I'm raw, right? I'm uncut in some times, right? And when you do everything politically correct, people still don't understand. So in 39, the gloves is off. You get it like my mama told me to give it to you. You get it like my daddy taught me to give it to you. So you're going to get it that way. Now, I will have some, as my wife who's trying to bully me through look right now, I will have some diplomacy. I've gotten better at the diplomacy, but one thing for sure, my contribution to my culture was present, and I did my job. And for that today, I'm proud. Miss Heather?
Well, actually, that's a great segue into our topic for today, which is around practicing self-control. And I mean, it really is an important conversation to have because it shapes us in so many ways. But the perspective that we're going to kind of talk about today is from two areas, right? One is how men communicate versus how women communicate, and how we pour those traits or characteristics into our children. And one of the reasons why they need both, because when they have both, they have a better opportunity to express and experience self-control because it's being poured out kind of in equal measure. Like they're getting both sides from both parents. And this is the masculine that we're talking about and the feminine, not necessarily male, female. So I want to make sure that that's kind of clear as well. And then we're going to talk about, in this area of self-control, is a concept that I learned about called the locus of control. And I thought it was a typo because I thought maybe they meant focus of control, but it was actually locus of control, which is another psychological or psychology term. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, and again, how this is rooted in our ability for self-control, and how self-control is really important in our community when we talk about acceptable culture. It comes back to that acceptable culture. You know, in our conversations over the months, we always bring that back up because it's so important to recognize that we as a community, we as a family, we as an individual, we as a block, we as a business, all of these different groups that we belong to, and where our identity is present, we have to accept the things that are, because we become part of the norm, or it becomes part of the norm. And whether you know it or not, by apathy, by choice, or just from fear, you can step back, but you're accepting what is being presented to you. Here's an interesting thought, a situation that happened early today. I was having a moment around questioning my integrity about taking a step to do something. Do you go behind somebody else's, if somebody else is, let's just say they dropped trash on the floor, do you go behind them and pick up the trash if they continue to walk and leave it there? That mindset, while it was upsetting to me, and I do this quite often, even in the ladies' room. If there is paper towel or something on the floor, now I'm saying within reason, right? I'm not talking about taking on the janitor's responsibility. I'm talking about taking my own responsibility, controlling the choices that I make and why I make them. So one of the choices that I make, because there's no trash can between it's two exits for the ladies' room. There's a main entrance, and then there's a little hallway, and there's another door you go in to actually go into the restroom. What tends to happen is when you wash your hands and you come outside that door and you've dried your hands with the paper towel, there's no receptacle to put it in between those two doors, or there's not a receptacle in the hallway. So what tends to happen is people come out of that first door from the restroom after washing their hands to that little hallway, this little, it's only as wide as the door will open, but they throw the paper towel behind the door. And it happens, if not once a day, it's almost like at least once every other day. And I have a choice to walk by and leave the paper towel there. And while experiencing that over time, right, seeing that happen day after day after day after day, do you stop? Do I stop picking it up and leave it as it is, or do I continue to walk by it and ignore it? My impulse is to leave it because it's annoying, and you do this over and over again. My thought is, if I do it in this restroom, if I walk by it here, what else will I choose to walk by because it's annoying and it's inconvenient in my life? And so I have to use that as my level of integrity in terms of my barometer of understanding what is in my responsibility, what is in my realm of control. And so that's such a huge part of who I want to see myself to be. I don't want to be the one that walks by because somebody else did something or didn't do something. I can't make their story my story. My story has to be one that I am going to continue to do what's right because that's the right thing to do, not to walk by because I'm just annoyed by it being done in the first place. If I do that, and I have to pace myself, Because if I do it here, where else will I choose to do it? Where else will I choose to make that decision? And that's not the person I want to be. I am part of solution. I'm not part of problem. And my choice to walk by is really based on my level of self-control. And where does that come from? That mindset of I have to choose to be different. I have to make the thing I want to see happen. I don't want to see the paper towel on the floor. I don't want people, because this is the space that we share. This is a community space. This is a workplace. And yes, there's a janitor that comes in sometimes in the morning and the evening. But do I want to walk over things over and over and over again? I do not. Do I want other people that come behind me to walk over things over and over again? I do not. And so I had to choose. But my point and my question is where does that come from? It comes from our sense of acceptable culture. Is it acceptable to leave the things that we don't want to see as it is? And I choose not to do that. But again, where did that come from? So I have a list of, let's just call these characteristics, and how men process, or the masculine energy processes versus how the feminine energy, or I don't want to make this about male and female, but the feminine energy respond. So I want to talk about that first, and then we're going to go over to this whole idea of the locus of control, which is really just talking about how you see yourself and how you view your level of self-control and how you navigate the world. So I'm going to ask Calvin to do this with me.
Calvin is ordering food for this evening, but go ahead, I'm listening.
Right. So your list, and I liken this list to how we respond and how our children see how we respond as masculine energy and feminine energy in their lives. And while both parents, that masculine energy and feminine energy is important, because it's not necessarily that they're opposite in nature, but the experience and the way that we interpret things and the way that we process it is different, from a different lens. We're not talking about good, bad, right, or wrong. We're just talking about the difference and what we both contribute, so that we give them enough tools to have both, the richness of both. So, are you still ordering food?
No, go ahead, I'm listening.
Well, I need you to read. That's why I was going to ask you to help me with this list. So you read let's switch it up. You read the feminine, I'll read the masculine. Okay, so this is how we make decisions and choices, and kind of how we process information. So the way a masculine person expresses making a decision, one, for men, or masculine energy, is differentiation. For female is what?
Integrating.
Right. Men or male energy is about individual. Female or feminine is
collective.
Masculine, external focus.
Internal focus.
Part focus for masculine.
Hell no. Why we got to be part focus? Okay, whole focus. I'm with you.
Masculine is about results.
Process for the feminine.
Masculine is competitive.
Feminine is collaborative.
Masculine is a hierarchy structure.
Feminine is circles or swirls.
Masculine is action.
Feminine is planning.
Masculine is doing.
Feminine is being.
Masculine focuses on intent.
Feminine focuses on effect.
Masculine focuses on logic.
Feminine focuses on values.
Masculine focuses on independent.
And feminine are interdependent.
Masculine focuses on urgent.
Feminine is on patient, which is, that's, okay. Come on now.
Masculine focuses on analysis.
Feminine is intuition.
Masculine focuses on the head.
Feminine focuses on the heart.
Masculine focuses on speaking.
Feminine focuses on talking. Okay, it says listening, but that is...
Masculine focuses on directing.
Feminine focuses on open.
Masculine focuses on assertive.
Feminine focuses on accommodating.
Masculine focuses on project. They project. And
feminine focuses on respond.
Masculine focuses on conscious.
Feminine focuses on subconscious.
Masculine focuses on structured.
Feminine focuses on random.
Masculine on linear.
Feminine on circle.
Masculine focuses on cause and effect.
Feminine on relationships.
Masculine focuses on linear analysis.
Feminine system thinking.
And finally, masculine focuses on bottom line oriented.
Bottom line, feminine, stakeholder oriented.
Right. And so as you look at that and you think about how you process information and why it's so important to have both sides, the experience of having both. So if I'm thinking individual, at some point we need to make sure that we're focusing on collective. But if you only see individuals, then you only become the individual.
Right.
So we have to have the balance between individual being a person that can stand in your power, and we have to be a person that can stand in the collective power. When we don't have the balance of both, we get an overexposure to one versus the other. And so we have to be mindful that we start to make decisions from that perspective. And when we start talking about self-control, when you look at not having a balance, is one of the reasons why we get out of control, why our situations are out of control, why our kids are out of control, while our decision-making skills are sometimes out of control, while we can go and buy, a $500 pair of shoes and have your light bill not paid. Like, the balance of self-control, what would balance or offset that might be missing? These are the things that we need to do in terms of self-exploration, reflection. Where are we most challenged so that we know how to offset that with the balance of the other? If we're so much into our focus on our heart, we may miss the logic. We may miss the use of our head and our thoughts and our thinking process to help us balance that. But if you are so engrossed in that, you can lose your sense of self-control, because it's all about what you feel and it's all about your emotions all the time without the balance. And so we have to be mindful that we need to continue to balance our ability to control our actions, our choices, and our beliefs. So I wanted to make sure that we talked about that as we kicked off this whole topic around practicing self-control and where some of those challenges may lie. And so the next conversation that we're going to talk about is really about this idea of the locus of control. So we're going on to the next one, Calvin.
All right, food's ordered.
Hope it's good. All right, and so when you talk about, and so on the back this is a quiz that I'm going to ask you all to take along with us or to give thought to the responses. Either you agree or disagree. So when we talk about the locus of control, when we talk about internal responses, we're talking about the mindset that I get what I deserve, I control my destiny, I accept responsibility, so something is my fault, I make things happen. So it's taking the position of that I have control. I am empowered to do or believe or make decisions and choices. Again, I control myself. So again, back to self-control. The external locus of control focuses on that it's somebody outside of you. Like, I never get what I deserve. My fate is already decided. The question that we ask ourselves, why me? And it's not my mistake. And so in our household, one of the practices that we believe is that we are the house of can. But so the house of can prescribes to the internal locus of control. Like, I make the decisions that lead and guide my life, or lead and guide the direction of my life. The external locus of control is about, it's outside of me. It's somebody else. Somebody is the they mentality. And so that mentality is also the I can't mentality. Like, I can't do something because somebody is not allowing me to. The I can mindset or mentality is around, I can do it when I put my mind to it. And so this is not about judgment, good, bad, right, or wrong. This is about understanding the components that make up who we are. So when you have more information, you have more tools, you understand yourself a lot better because you can apply these to who you are. So I wanted to go over, there are only 9 questions here, and I want you to give some thought to the 9 questions in framing it and understanding that we're talking about whether this particular question is based on your internal sense of control or your external sense of control, meaning that somebody else is going to control it, or internal, meaning that you are going to control it. So these are the 9 questions. The first one, or the 9 statements. As a listening audience, we want you to, and Calvin, you can respond. Monique, you can respond to this. Okay, so this is the focus of the locus of control test. I keep calling it focus. Number 1 says, I need to be kept informed about news and events. So either you agree or disagree. Agree. Okay, and so what do you think that is, more of the internal or the external?
External for me.
I need to be kept informed about news and events.
I think it would be external.
External, okay. The next question is, I do not really believe in luck or chance. Internal or external?
Internal.
Internal.
Okay, good. All right, so you guys agree with that or disagree? Do you believe that, though?
Do I believe in luck or chance?
I do not really believe in luck or chance.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I don't believe in luck.
Okay.
I believe in luck is a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so the number 3 is, I usually convince others to do things my way. Is that internal or external?
That's both. That's N and X. I had it bad, so I've learned to temper my verbal control.
Okay.
I say yes, and then I think that's internal.
Okay. Number 4, people make a difference in controlling crime. People make a difference in controlling crime. Agree or disagree first?
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Now, do you think that's an internal control or an external control?
It's both of them.
I was going to say both, too.
You guys are cheaters. Okay, so you're going to go with both. Okay, number 5, people must be the master of their own fate. Agree or disagree?
I agree.
I agree, too.
Now, is that an internal control or external control?
It's internal.
Internal.
Okay. No blurred lines there. Okay. It's number 6. I never try anything that I am not sure of. Agree or disagree?
I disagree. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And is that internal or external?
It's both for me.
Yeah, I say internal. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Number 7. I earn the respect and honors I receive. Agree or disagree?
It's me.
I earn the respect and honors I receive. Agree or disagree?
I would probably say agree. I'll probably say agree.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you ask that question, all kind of things go wrong on the inside, right? Because, so yes, I deserve them.
You earned them?
Yeah, I earned them.
Okay. And do you think that's internal or external?
Internal.
Okay, 2 more. The next one, number 8, says leaders are successful when they work hard. Agree or disagree?
Disagree.
You agree, Monique, and you disagree. Internal or external? Leaders
Internal.
are successful when they work hard.
Internal.
I said external.
External, okay. So the last one is persistence and hard work usually lead to success. Agree or disagree?
I agree.
Internal or external?
Both.
I say both.
You say both too?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I would say both too.
You guys have some blurred lines here around your control. Okay, so I want to go back to number 4, which was people make a difference in controlling crime. I think I agree with that too. I think the way that we change it. So now if we agree that people have control over changing crime or controlling crime, what are we doing? Why are we still experiencing elevated levels of crime? Why? If we have control over it.
If people, right?
No, it's not if. It's people make a difference in controlling crime.
People do make a difference in controlling crime. But if your foundation is rocky, then that comes into question. If you don't have proper guidance, then things come into question. When you don't, it's all of those things that help you make and shape those decisions, inner and outer, to control crime. As a matter of fact,
for example, because we're still framing this in self-control.
right.
So where does that show up?
So where does it show up?
Mm-hmm.
So in the parenting,
Okay.
right? If I'm not taught, right? We had this conversation all weekend. We seem to forget that the one entity that helps us control, right? That helps us make decisions, that helps us understand how important discipline is, to helps us understand. We still think that we doing this without fathers, men. And the man, that's what he shapes. If a man doesn't teach his son, or men don't teach no, he won't learn it specifically from his mom.
And we just kind of went through that list to show that too much of the feminine and not a balance of the masculine throws us off.
Throws us completely off.
Right.
And so that
Keeps us off balance.
Right. Yes. That in itself is real. Like, you know, like I said, we had this conversation. You can't tell a kid no. Right? No. Why did you tell me no? Oh, you don't love me. I don't like you. I can't stand you anyway. Right? Like, we got all of these things going on because we're absent. Men are absent. But go ahead.
So what I want to plant a seed, and I want to also share a tool and a resource that I believe every household should have, because we have to have some standards that we set. We have to have some pathways that we follow, and we have to have something to refer us back to how we should conduct ourselves as individuals, as family, and as community. And so one of the tools that I think is essential is this book called Ma'at, Guiding Principles of Moral Living. Ma'at, Guiding Principles of Moral Living. It's published by the University of Kemet Morality Collective. And I just want to read just a couple of things about inner self guidelines. That one of the standards that they talk about and some of the practices that they talk about is this inner self guidelines. So we're talking about self-control.
Well.
This book is an awesome resource. It talks about everything from history and culture. It gives you a perspective on moral living, inner self, health and well-being, family and relationships, community, intelligence of the heart. And there are things about what we need to do with our children.
And where can you order this book? So
I mean, you can order it. You can go to Amazon. You can go to any book resource to order it.
Okay.
Yeah, any book resource to order it. But I want to make sure that I cover these couple of areas that share with us about our self-control, and it's referred to here as inner self-guide. So it starts off by saying, first, know, love, and respect yourself, then another. Love self first. And so it starts with live with dignity, honor, and self-respect. And then it talks about how you practice that. And so it gives, there's three steps. Practice ma'at, which are the principles of justice, harmony, propriety, order, reciprocity, balance, and truthfulness. It says, and if you practice this in all situations, and you will begin to do good in all things. By not practicing ma'at doesn't make a person bad. It said, however, it doesn't help a person to be his or her best. So our goal is to become our best. And the third step, it talks about when you align your intentions and actions to the guiding principles of ma'at, you will feel strong, purposeful, and sure. No matter where you find yourself, carry yourself according to ma'at. Attach yourself to what is just and right, regardless of what other people think or do. Hold to your true aspirations, no matter what's going on around you. And that kind of goes back to the example I gave about the paper in the ladies' room. I'm torn, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. And Calvin, you talked about that feeling of apathy, where it can lead you when you give up, where it can lead you where it no longer matters the choice or the decision that you make. When we get there, which we are seeing across our community, we see it across education, we see it across business, where customer service is not a standard that's high enough to drive people back to a business. That's apathy. That's apathy of the people who might be working there. They are tired of dealing with people with bad attitudes coming in as customers. So now their standard becomes, I'm apathetic against anybody that comes in. So I'm not going to give you my best because you already, or somebody before you has already set the standard to pull me down. And I'm going to just stay down because I don't care enough to change. I don't care enough to be the difference. I don't want to make that extra effort for you. That's the mindset of apathy, not caring enough to make the difference or be the difference. We have to, that's a part of our own self-control. That is an internal control. When you have that mindset that somebody else is not doing it, that is the external mindset. Because somebody else upset me, therefore everybody that follows gets the same poor treatment or the same lack of care that person before them made me feel or made me do or made me express to you. That's part of our apathy that we're seeing in our community. The same thing with blight, the same thing with violence and crime. So I don't have it because of whatever my circumstance might be, so I'm going to take it from you. That is external. That's an external. Somebody did something to me to affect my circumstance. Therefore, I'm going to take this circumstance and build my level of self-control, which is become a taker as opposed to a doer, right? And so that's apathy, not caring enough to give and be your best. That really creates the acceptable culture that we have become accustomed.
Yeah, but so we can't bypass. Here's where I think a lot of times we right? We like to pick up right where, right? Meet them. We hear this. Meet them where they are. Right? And then you got all of these things in place and meeting them where they are. Right? And so as we've been going through, you got to take them all the way back to bring them forward. That's where the hard part comes in at. If I meet you here, you might not can't read. You might not understand hygiene. You might really just hate the world. So I done met you right here at this space. Now I got to take you from this space, take you back, restructure the foundation with words, with lessons, with experience, with, right? So I got
thoughts, words, and deeds, for sure.
Right? To reshape your foundation, then I got to move you past where I found you.
And that sounds like the work of a mentor or teacher,
well,
or parent.
Here's my point for saying that, right? Here's my point for saying that. You then would be behind. See, if I got to take you backwards to solidify you, to regroup your foundation, and then I got to bring you forward. As soon as what's that song? Remember the song you say, one step forward and 2 steps back, right? So I got to take you back to bring you forward, which means I'm pulling you out of the race. We have to do so much better at the beginning.
For sure.
Right? So I don't have to bring you back to restructure your foundation, to bring you forward for you to catch up at a place where you should already be ahead. So, and what you're saying about it sounding like a mentor, I'm just saying.
That's why we need mentors.
Not only that's why we need mentors, but
that's why we need healthy parenting.
Right, because if you go back, when you turn around to take somebody back, that's where they come from.
The term they?
Yeah. They come from, you don't have a solid foundation. So you are envious of they. So anything that happens to you in your process is they fault.
Well,
come on, Cal. Don't do that to the people.
That is a great point. And so, again, tools. We need tools to help support that work and that mindset.
Yes.
And so I'm going to go on for this next piece of wisdom in the my guiding principles. Bring the best of who you are into being. The best of who you are lives within you. And depending on how well you embrace the principles of my aunt and practice, live purposefully and listen to your heart. The best of who you are may soon be fully evident to yourself and others. And number 2, not working to cultivate the best of who you are doesn't make you a bad person, but it doesn't help you grow and develop in healthy and meaningful ways. Define who exactly you want to be. The best of who you are, what you intend to do in life, and your life purpose. The next part says, build your character. Character matters more than reputation. Character reflects who you are on the inside. Reputation is tied to what others think about you. That's the internal and external. Reputation develops from character. It is more important to be honest, direct, just, and fair than to be concerned about how others perceive you. Number 2, worrying about what others think of you wastes time and does not bring about the positive change in your life. Doing so means that you value the external over the internal, that someone else's views and opinions are somehow more valuable than yours, and therefore you will listen to them before you will listen to your own heart. Listen to your heart. Be just. Keep your word and live righteously. These, coupled with the principles of MOD, will most certainly support building and or maintaining good culture and good character. When they speak of giving your best, give all you have to things that are good and just. Stay tough in good times and bad. Regardless of what's going on around you, make the best of what is in your power and take the rest as it occurs. Give your best and accept the best. Speaking, act with dignity and expect that those who want to be around you to do the same. Learn from your mistakes. It's important to be able to admit your mistakes, learn from them, and move forward with the intent to not make the same mistakes again. When learning from and correcting mistakes, use the solution opposite of the problem to prevent the same mistake from happening in the future. With every difficulty in life, you are presented with an opportunity to turn inward and appeal to our own inner resources. When something happens, ask yourself what resources you have for dealing with it. You possess strengths you may not have realized you had. Practice discipline. This is one of your favorites, Calvin. Only through discipline can you truly be all that you wish to be. Discipline enables one to act. With it, you are able to carry out decisions from fear, doubt, ambivalence, and laziness. Discipline builds inner strength. The self-control that comes from such inner strength eventually becomes embedded in your personality. Without discipline, completing things that you start and fulfilling commitments can be more challenging. Here's another good one. Learn from struggle. Struggle is inevitable and necessary for growth. It is at the basis of all transformation and the driving force of everything in nature, from the smallest unit to the largest system. No growth can happen without an internal struggle between two opposing tendencies or ideas. So struggle is good in that it challenges us to get tougher, more decisive, and more adept at identifying and solving problems. Running from or avoiding struggle does not help a person grow. Avoidance does not help you to clarify matter or take principled positions on issues, overcoming internal challenges or weaknesses or face unjust people or situations. You can't run. Rather than run from struggle and or hardship, face it directly and honestly. Contemplate its meaning, direction, and your opportunity to take charge of what you have control over. That internal controls. And this last piece, I'm going to let it go after this. Make your actions consistent with your behavior. What you value is easily seen through your actions. If honesty is important to you, then you will be honest. If justice is important to you, then you will be just in your actions. If you value honesty, justice, reciprocity, keep your word, hard work, giving your best, and treating people fairly, your actions will reflect these values.
Sound like me and my principles.
It's a powerful tool.
You gotta line up.
It's a powerful tool. If you don't know where to start to build those internal controls, this is a great tool. If you want to change acceptable culture and you need a blueprint for doing so, this is an awesome tool to do it. Again, every household that is progressive, every household that is trying to be and become your best, and you have children that you're building, you have young adults that you're building, you need to have the tool in your possession. I suggest everyone have this particular tool. Yep.
Tell them where they can reach you.
Well, you can find me at yourinspiredjourney.com. That's yourinspiredjourney.com. Or you can reach me by phone at 313-759-7855. You can also find my articles at Detroit Native Sun News online. So you can find articles by myself and Calvin on that resource as well. Look at some of our articles, at a lot of the wisdom that we talk about, not just from the podcast, but the ideas that we live every day. So if you're looking to see more of who we are and how we apply those things, that's another great source to find us. And now that was it.
You can reach me at calvintman.com. I am, this thing is winding down. I'm going to get into bed tonight and give me some more of that good sleep. But to make it clear, you got to bring it home. You got to make it happen. We got to stop giving our children bad starts. Give our children good quality, wholesome starts. Reading, writing, just let's get there. Give them some basic tools of love and care, walks and talks and
time,
the peace you can't get back. This an amazing. Get the book, My Guiding Principles of Moral Living. If you're a new father, get the book, 15 Things You Ain't Know About Fatherhood, on Amazon by Calvin Mann. You got to understand that there are so many people out there fighting for the culture. You spelled Calvin wrong.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. It's last time I saw that, Monique, last time I saw that, I said, I was, where was I at? I forget what teacher did that to me. And she was like, Clavin? She brought back a memory with that one. But it's really important for us to know and see that we don't have to answer they, but we can love we. We can do this thing, right? And we don't need permission. This is the 2024. Let's go, right?
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's make it happen. We don't have to be sitting around here and giving all that power to other people. Give it to yourself, to your children, to your families. With that being said, my name is Calvin, man. And listen, Christmas is coming. Don't spend all your money on toys and PlayStations and boxes and sitting yourself. Get games that have had a whole family active, right? Spend some time with your kids. Don't just give your son a game. Put the game, he already got a computer. Put the games away. Resell it, sell it, get it out the house. But get active on the foundation of our children. Make that a priority. My name is Calvin Mann. This has been METV's Put Your Family First podcast. God bless you and encourage me. I'm young. I've been saying this since 1992.